What's up, y'all? Let everybody get in. How is everybody doing today? We'll let everybody get in real quick. Julio, what's up, bro? What's going on, y'all? How's everybody doing? Drop a like down below as you get in here. We're going to let everybody get in, and then we will start it up. Finally got a TV in here. I'm able to have something in the background. What's up, y'all? What's going on, everybody? Drop a like down below. Let's get it. Good evening, Cam Drummond a lock. Yes, sir. Of course. We will talk about that in a second. Gonna let everybody get in, and then we'll start answering questions so I don't, miss anyone. Is Drummond a lock? Yes. What's up, Big Cam? Levi, what's up, bro? How's everybody doing, man? Everybody feeling good about this slate? What we got? We've got some good value on this slate. Feeling really good about it. Drummond and Kaminsky are locks. Drummond is a lock, and right now I have Kaminsky as a top value play. So close. Yeah. Probably, Andrew. We do have some really good forward value on this slate today, and we'll talk about all the options we have, but Kaminsky's got to be at the top of that list. His fantasy points per minute has been about 1.10. So if you calculate that between, how much minutes he's projected to play, which is around 30. So, yeah, he's projected for over 30 DraftKings points pretty easily, and should be a big-time play. Jorge Cedino, boy or girl. We found out this morning that I am having a boy. So there's that. I am having a boy. I let my uncle know already. I just haven't posted on Twitter yet. Is Blake Griffin lock on Fanduel at 3.9? Let me switch over to Fanduel real quick on my computer. I'm going to pull up Fanduel real quick, and then I will look at that for you. Is Blake Griffin a lock? I have looked over it already. I don't consider him a lock, but let me pull it up where I have him at. So I can see where I have him projected and stuff. Boys Rock Cam, congratulations. Appreciate you, man. Wow, baby Cam coming soon. Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys. All right, so Fanduel, Blake Griffin. I don't consider Blake Griffin a lock. Is he a good play? At 3.9, I have him right around 5X, a little bit less than 5X. Appreciate you, Tony. Appreciate you, everybody. Yes, I am having a boy. He'll be on. Hopefully, he'll be on here talking fantasy sports with me someday. We'll see. Appreciate you, Dan. Welcome in, everybody. Drop a like down below as you guys come in. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. Let's talk about injuries that we have on this slate. There's some obvious stuff on this slate today. I think we all know what I'm talking about. Joel Embiid being out is a big deal. We know there's a lot of value on Philly today. It's about getting the right value. I could probably even see for cash games, I could even possibly see a 5-player Philly stat. You know what I mean? Because with Embiid being out, and on top of that, you already have Ben Simmons out for a while. You got Tobias Harris. Everybody with any type of usage is out. You know what I mean? So that whole Philly team, they're thin as well, Blessings on blessings. Appreciate you, my sports. Niang is a lock. I don't necessarily know if he's a lock. I'm still debating on how I want to play that situation, man, because there's options at the forward position. Obviously, I like a lot of guys from that game. I'll talk about my favorite ones. First and foremost, let's talk about the cheapest one of the Philly value, and Paul Reed. Paul Reed averages a good bit of fantasy points per minute, over a fantasy point per minute. He's projected to play about 25 minutes. So what does that put him around 25 or so? At 3.3, he's probably a guy that I'm really interested in today because he gets us a piece of this Philly team that's incredibly thin, especially at bigs. And, he's only 3.3, and he gets us a piece of that Philly squad. Now, I like Niang. Don't get me wrong. He's been doing very, very well. I'm not super happy with his, production when he is on the floor. His fantasy points per minute is not amazing. It's 0.6 or something. I was kind of shocked when I saw it because he's been doing pretty well. But yeah, 0.6 per minute. Niang is fine. Don't get me wrong. I do prefer Kaminsky over him though. And Kaminsky's 300 less. So that's one of the problems with Niang is that you have Kaminsky $300 less, and I like Kaminsky a little bit more, honestly. But I love Korkmaz a lot. It's kind of a wait and see approach on. We got to see what's going on with Danny Green as well. Because if Danny Green's back in the rotation, then this is a guy who is going to take some minutes away from like guys like Shake Milton that we like. You know what I'm saying? He's going to affect the minutes a little bit. Mainly Shake Milton. So Shake Milton's a guy that I like today. So we got to kind of wait on that. You can play at shooting guard on FanDuel. Reed, you can play. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I love that FanDuel's doing that now, because FanDuel was the problem. The problem with them is that, you know, the roster construction, the way you got to build, everybody was pretty much going the same way sometimes because, you know, you couldn't really change where people are going and stuff. So I really like they opened that up. Favorite spend up? My favorite spend up of the day is probably Westbrook or AD. I'm still debating. I lean Westbrook just because AD is super fragile, but I do have some interest in the Lakers spend up guys today. I also really love Jokic. Michael Porter Jr. is out. I don't love the matchup. The matchup against Miami is bad. The matchup against Miami is bad. So I don't love the matchup, but his fantasy points, like, he is effective with Michael Porter Jr. off the floor. How about your Falcons, guy? I'm so happy, man. I'm so happy. My Braves and then my Falcons? Come on, man. Congrats on the baby news. Appreciate you, Neil. I appreciate you. Drop a like down below if you haven't already. The Bulls-Nets game going to be the best game to target. You think so? So one of the things about that game, we got to keep an eye on KD. If KD misses, obviously, if they decide to rest him or anything, then that'll be interesting. It looks like he's probable, but it is a second of a back-to-back, so we'll see if they rest him or not. If they rest him, obviously, you're going to have Blake Griffin will get a bump. Like y'all mentioned earlier, somebody mentioned Blake Griffin earlier. He'll get a slight bump. Obviously, James Harden will get a bump. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. We should know by lock. Hopefully, they'll have that information out before 6 o'clock lock, 6 Central lock. But Gary Payton at 3-4. Let me see. I have not considered Gary Payton much at 3-4. Yeah, there's better value options on this slate, in my opinion. With Embiid out for Philly, there's just a lot of value open today. I don't think you need to really go crazy for a guy like Gary Payton. Which matchup do you see as the highest owned? Philly is going to be the highest owned. Philly's going to be the highest owned team in general, for sure, because that's where the value is. Let's see. Let's look at Vegas totals real quick. I'm going to pull up Vegas totals. Let's take a look and see which ones we believe or not. So you got the Lakers as the highest projected total. Makes sense. Charlotte has been giving up a lot of points this year. Defensively, they are bad. LeBron is still out. So still, regardless of what Anthony Davis just did to you or Westbrook just did to you, you have to have a short memory in DFS, guys. You've got to have a short memory in DFS. You know how many times a guy has burned me completely one day, and then the next slate I play him and he goes off? Like, you just got to forget about the things that, you know, if the matchup is there, don't worry about past and what he's done recently. Don't worry about that. Worry more about if the stats and the numbers are looking right. That's why there's a big difference between, you know, the people who study the most are the people who have the most success in DFS, because it is pretty much, you got to study. You got to put the right guys in spots. You can't just go off of what sites are saying about, you know, ownership or what projections they have, all like 100%. And that's all you go off of. You have to go off more when you do that stuff. You know what I mean? You can't just rely on that stuff. If you are, then people like me will take advantage of you playing like that and be able to pivot off of guys who are high on that shouldn't be. DK fixing to make Rubio 10K. Rubio smashed, man. Shout out to him, man. Shout out to him. Lakers could get blown out. Portland smashed them, and they horribly bad without LeBron. I understand. I feel you. I tend to think it stays close here, honestly. With the game being in LA, I think the game stays competitive. I understand why AD would scare you guys. I get it. Westbrook sucked last game. I get it. That's what I'm talking about. Of like, obviously they haven't given you any reason to trust them, but at the end of the day, Westbrook and AD are big-time fantasy point per minute players. We know that already. We know the DFS impact they make. You take LeBron off the floor, these guys are amazing. Anytime they have a great matchup, you just got to, you know, I mean, look into it. But this matchup is fantastic against Charlotte. Vegas has the spread only 2. I tend to agree with it being in LA. If it was in Charlotte, maybe I'd predict a lopsided game, but I'm not going to predict a lopsided game here. I am expecting it to stay fairly close. Best power forward and small forward plays on Fanduel. Best power forward and small forward on Fanduel. All right. Small forward and power forward. Bane, decent play at small forward. The only problem with Bane is the value option. With Bane is the value options that you have at forward. That's the only problem. But yeah, he's decent. He's decent. You do have a lot of forward value today. That makes that kind of hard. Drummond, I am locking in GPP. Lock him in cash too. Don't overthink it. Sometimes it's really easy. You know what I mean? A big mistake that sometimes people will make is they'll be like, oh, I'm playing GPP, so because Andre Drummond is going to be so popular, I'm going to fade him on this one lineup I'm throwing in GPP. Don't do that. Don't do that. Guys that are locks, guys that need to be in there, just do it. Especially if you're playing 1 to 3 lineups or something like that. Just play them. Now, if you play 150 lineups, then cool. Have some without Drummond. But majority, if I was playing 150 lineups today, I'd have like 100 plus with Drummond. Miles Bridges, or if not all, honestly. Miles Bridges with Washington out on FanDuel. So Miles Bridges has been playing very, very well as long as PJ's been out. We all know that. Miles Washington is fine. Let me check his price real quick, and then I'll get to the other question about power forward and small forward that you guys asked. Miles Bridges, I was about to say, I saw Mikal Bridges' price, and I was like, what the fuck? I thought that was Miles Bridges' price. I was like, oh, yeah, lock him in. Miles Bridges, let's see. $8.3. Man. I want Kaminsky there. That's one just priority at that position. That's definitely when I want to go. The next person you go is a toss-up. You can honestly, you can spend up if you want to. That's fine. I'm not going to hate you for it too much. What do you think about Melo Ball? I think LaMelo is sneaky tonight. I think a lot of people aren't off of him. In GPP, especially, you guys know how I always feel about that. LaMelo Ball, in my opinion, is a GPP play a lot of times because his upside is so crazy. And tonight, with everybody, some people having a Westbrook or an AD in their lineup, running it back with LaMelo Ball is a good idea. Any guards you like under 4K? Oh, I didn't answer it. So pretty much small forward, power forward. The forwards that I like, Frank Kaminsky. I like, PJ Dozier's going to get 30 minutes at 3.6. I don't love that, but outside of Kaminsky, Kaminsky is by far my favorite forward play. Jaren Jackson at 6'3", you can consider. He's been playing pretty solid as well. Is Jokic a good GPP play? Absolutely. So doing my research and deep diving in the Jokic, there's one thing that has me hesitant on him, and that's it. Only one thing, and that's matchup against Miami. That's it, because everything else has him being the highest scorer on the slate. If you take the matchup out and you don't worry too much about matchup, which you need to, it's DFS, but still, if you don't worry too much about matchup, you think, whatever, then Jokic is projected the highest on the slate, period. He destroys with Michael Porter Jr. out. You still have Jamal Murray out. It's amazing. But the matchup against Miami is tough. So GPP, I like him. Cash, it's scary. It's scary, man. Love these live shows. Steve, appreciate it, man. What's up? No high five today? Who are they? So I went to find out what my baby was today. I'm having a boy. That's why we were at our meeting and stuff this morning. I wasn't able to drop the high five this morning, so sorry about that. I did let everybody know on Twitter that I was going to find out what I was having, so I wasn't going to be doing any videos. I'll put together a high five. Well, you guys will have a good idea of my favorite guys by the end of this live. What are the questions? Porzingis. All right, let me see. I'm going to switch back over to DK now. I'm expecting you talking about Draftkings, right? Just got here. Any locks today? Yes, Andre Drummond probably locked. We've talked about Frank Kaminsky multiple times already in this live. Love Kaminsky today. Kaminsky is the guy that I side with over on Phoenix. Over on Phoenix with 8 now over McGee. Just because Kaminsky's more of a fantasy point per minute contributor. The dude's a baller, period. 4.9 Aaron Gordon. He usually hoops versus Heat. Check it out. I'll check out his history versus Heat. I probably won't play it either way, though. It's interesting, though. It is interesting, though. 4.9, no Michael Porter. Let me look into it real quick. Let me look into it. You got me thinking about it now. Let me look at it. Hold on. Let me see. So, one thing I will say is he will be low owned. I feel pretty good about that. Now, most of the time, I don't really care too much about like the whole, oh, he's done good against one certain team. I don't really look too much into that. I don't take too much merit into that. The problem with Aaron Gordon is, like I always try to mention on the lives, is like find out where the value is and find out where you need to spend up with, depending on what positions you're going to be using for value. It helps you. It makes it easier to figure out what positions you need to spend up for. Forward is incredibly stacked with value today. Incredibly stacked. We talked about Philly being super thin. Okay, Philly is incredibly thin. You're going to want Philly guys. You've got Philly forwards over there, especially with Embiid out. You've got so many forwards over there that are just popping. I'd probably go like Niang over Aaron Gordon even. Appreciate you, creative thinking. Thoughts on Joe Val or Cat on FanDuel in GPP? Jonas Valanciunas or Cat? So, looking at the matchup, we have Karl-Anthony Towns against Memphis. We have Valanciunas against Dallas. I really like Valanciunas today against Dallas. Dallas has been really struggling versus centers. Really struggling. Any Kings guys on the radar tonight? Not many of them have been on my radar so far tonight, honestly. No, I have not considered too many Kings. Any Kings that I'd be interested in is, let's see. Let's see what Kings I would have some interest in. The matchup against Phoenix isn't great. That's number one. Payton being out is definitely going to be a little bit easier down low. I always am a fan of De'Aaron Fox. I'm just not going to play him today because, we got Westbrook on the slate. I'd rather just pay up for Westbrook or down for like a Shake Milton. But no, I'll just answer it. I like Rashawn Holmes is interesting. With Ayton out, it should be a little easier to score down low. So I do like Rashawn Holmes if you have to play a King. Steven Adams is a solid play, yes. Drummond lock, every lineup. I talked about it a minute ago. If I was making 150 lineups, I'd probably have at least 100, if not more, with Andre Drummond. So, yeah, majority of them, yeah. DeJuan Adams, fading all Lakers. Good luck to you, my friend. If you're playing GPP and you're playing multiple lineups, cool. If you're playing cash games, I don't know, man. Here's the problem. Charlotte gives up a ton of points per game, some of the most in the league. Then you got LeBron off, and you've got guys like Westbrook and AD, such high fantasy point contributors. You could be dead early if they go off. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if they go off, you're screwed. You know what I mean? So, I understand the fate of AD maybe because AD's got the injury risk, and if he goes out, if he's high owned, then cool. Like we've always talked about. If AD with AD's injury risk, I will always choose Westbrook over AD. Simon, I would choose Westbrook over AD because of AD's injury risk, especially with him being injured in this last game too. So he's just super soft, man. Like honestly, like any little bug could fly on him and he's just out for the game. You just never know what you're going to get out of him, what kind of effort you're going to get. Have to play Drummond. He scores like 24 versus them in 30 minutes. Yeah, in 13 minutes. Yeah, Drummond is one of those plays where a lot of people, will overthink things and be like, oh, everybody's going Drummond, so I'm not gonna. If you're making one lineup, don't be dumb. Play Andre Drummond. If you're a guy who plays like even 5 lineups, just play Andre Drummond in all of them and figure it out elsewhere. He's too cheap, man. The last time Embiid ended up playing, he was more expensive. Today, he's only 5'7", man. You're getting him under 6K. He's a lock for 36 at least. He's a lock for 6X. Westbrook's turnovers do suck. Don't get me wrong, but this is still Russell Westbrook. And you take LeBron off the floor. I understand he had a bad game last game, but y'all got to be short memory, man. And if he kills me tonight, if I end up playing him and he kills me tonight, then so be it. But I'm telling you, all the research and all that tells you it screams to play Westbrook and not to sit here and worry too much about what's happening right now, and to realize who Westbrook is as a player and understand that this is a spot. Westbrook too expensive and Washington trash. The problem with that way of thinking is that we have value at forward spots. So really, you're going to probably want to spend up on guard. You're probably going to want to spend up on guard. That's another reason Westbrook sounds good, because you have so many forward options with Embiid out. AD Mag is everyone calling him a bitch. He might go off 3 nights ago. Yeah, exactly. Would you rather go Ball than Westbrook? In GPP, you can go Ball over Westbrook. Now, I'm not saying he's a lock, Brock. I'm not saying he's a lock, but he's solid. What the hell are those wind chimes? Yeah, sorry, it's my phone. It's my security system catching motion. Yeah, busting in here.
Your daughter has been rolling in some dirt.
Has she? There's dirt out there?
I don't know how back is dirty and wet.
I don't know how that happens. I really don't. It could be like...
It's literally like wet.
It could not rain for a month and she somehow gets wet. I don't know how that's happening. So maybe a leak somewhere or something. Or the neighbor sprays or something, and maybe it's coming up.
Just the sprinklers.
Oh, true. She's probably laying on a sprinkler.
Or some area down close by the fence where it's very less. It goes down, so maybe the water sits and it's more muddy over there.
Yeah, that's true. Will Barton. All right, Will Barton. I like Will Barton. I do like Will Barton. Will Barton's slick. I'm glad you brought him up, Dewan. Will Barton is slick without Michael Porter. So let's take a look at this. Let me see. All right. So when Michael Porter does not play, obviously that's going to be more forward minutes across the board. So you take Michael Porter off. Will Barton's going to average over 1 fantasy point per minute at least. Okay. He's going to average over a fantasy point per minute for sure, at least. I don't know much if he's going to get much over that, but he's probably going to get about a fantasy point per minute. His minutes should get a bump up. He's going to see probably around 35 to even 40 maybe. The matchup against Miami is tough. But Will Barton, I can see Will Barton being a fine play. Will Barton's fine. Drop a like down below if you haven't already. 95 people in here. Appreciate y'all joining me as always. As you can see, everybody's asking questions. If you're new, everybody's just asking questions they've been thinking of all day, trying to get some help. This is what I do in here. I answer questions. Anderson popping for me for Memphis. Anderson is popping for you for Memphis? All right, so let's take a look. Kyle Anderson at 4.2 is fine for 5X. So, yeah, if you just are trying to land on somebody. But the issue is once again, y'all, he is a forward. All right. He is 4.2. Kaminsky is $100 more. You also have those other forward options on this slate you got Kaminsky, Paul Reed, 3.3. You've got Korkmaz. You've got Niang. You've got a good bit of, man, especially on that Philly team, man, with Embiid being out. So much value is open for that. Derrick Rose, decent play. I had Derrick Rose damn near locked yesterday. I had Derrick Rose in a lot yesterday. I'm not as excited about it today, though. Optimizers are killing Barton. Like 80% of my lineup pulls have Barton Drummond. Well, don't rely solely on optimizers. You got to do your own looking into it and separate these guys for yourself. If optimizers are stuffing in Will Barton, then that kind of makes me happy, because that means the majority of people are going to be stuffing Will Barton in and maybe taking a value like a Paul Reed or taking somebody else who's getting a really, really, really solid bump over him will give me some lower ownership. So if Barton's going to be super high on him, that's interesting. Better pay up, Durant. Who's a better pay up, Durant or Curry? Probably Curry. Durant on the back-to-back. Still a question mark of if they rest him or not. Probably Curry, though. I love his matchup. Golden State's been smashing. What do we like? A shooting guard? So if Danny Green remains out, really love Shake Milton. Shake Milton's one of my favorite shooting guards on the slate. If Danny Green remains out, remember, if Danny Green plays, he is going to take away from him. You're saying pivot from him? I'm saying if Barton is going to be high owned, which I don't necessarily know if he's going to be high owned. He might be high owned. Yeah, I mean, you could pivot around him. You could go Korkmaz instead of him, save some money. You could go Niang instead of him, save some money. You could go Desmond Bain, who somebody brought up earlier, instead of him and save some money. If he's going to be super high owned, it's interesting to pivot off of him because at the end of the day, he is a decent price at 5.5. Like, do I feel he could get 30? Sure. But it is a tough matchup against Miami. So, yeah, take that for what it's worth. But, yeah, Barton's fine. I'm not saying Barton's a horrible player or anything like that. I think you can play Barton even. If you land on it and you feel great about it, cool. Because at the end of the day, like I've always said, the goal is every single spot in your lineup needs to have some type of reasoning behind it, whereas, like, somebody's out, and that's why he's getting a bump. So, like, at the end of the day, right, when you're looking over your lineup, you need to start from the top and go all the way to the bottom and tell yourself, this is why I'm playing this guy. If any of the guys you land on, you're like, I'm not really sure why I'm playing him, I'm just kind of landing on him, then don't use him. Balance off if you need to. Make it so that the entire lineup kind of just clicks. That's what I'll do. I'll build all day, a whole bunch of different versions. I'll come together, put my favorite together where everybody is getting a bump somehow. And that's the important part. I don't ever just play somebody just because. Just want to say you're one of the coolest DFS YouTubers. I appreciate it, man. Big facts. I always love other people's thoughts better for everyone. Play the Philly starting 5 and 3 late night hammers Philly players, all cheap. Philly players are obviously going to be incredibly popular tonight, and for good reason. If Danny Green plays, it's going to make the waters a little murkier because he will take away a little bit from Shake Milton, who I love. I'm hoping Danny just sits. It'll make things a little easier, but yeah, Philly is where the value's at tonight. I wouldn't hate it. I said in the very beginning of this live show, like in cash games, if you land on 5 Philly, I wouldn't even yell at you. You know what I mean? A lot of times I don't love doing that because the more players you have from one team, the more probability is that one of them do not hit value. But still, I mean, you gotta love the fact that they're, getting such big bumps. Do you like Memphis tonight? I like some of them. I like Bane, like we've talked about multiple times. So I'm not really caring too much about the spend ups. I like Jaren Jackson. I like Bane. They're both solid options. Every time I play Luka, he gets 3 points in the first half. I hate that shit, man. I hate that shit. I hate when you play a stud in a great spot and he just does nothing for a long time. And then like third and fourth quarters, he just goes off and like redeems himself for like 50. It's stressful. It's like, dude, just start the night off hot. That way I can just stay relaxed. You start out with a 3, then I'm all pissed off. And I'm like, what the fuck? What are you doing? You know what I mean? I'm getting aggravated. My whole night's ruined. And then you come back and win. And then I'm able to go to sleep. Finally. When you finally come back and hit 50. But yeah, Luka's been struggling, man. It's been a struggle for him. Solid matchup against New Orleans. Yeah, Doncic's matchup is fantastic. It is good. So if you feel like you got to go Doncic, that's cool. I lean Westbrook. I do lean Westbrook over him. If Durant sits, do you like Harden or Westbrook? Oh, if Durant sits, I got to go Harden. Probably. I probably got to go Harden. It's close, though. It's tough. Like, it's tough. It's definitely tough. If KD sits, Harden will be very interesting. That's a very tough question. I would love to get both. We'll see, though. I doubt it. Levine or DeRozan, FanDuel GPP? On FanDuel, Levine or DeRozan? Let me see the price difference. So Levine is $8K. DeRozan is $8.5. Levine. Who is your must-have of pairing of players? Right now, my 2 favorite players probably Drummond and Kaminsky. Who is your if you only have to pick 2 players on the Philadelphia, who do you choose? Only 2. Okay, if I have to only choose 2, I'm choosing value. I'm choosing 2 value. I have to go Drummond. Number 1, you got to go Drummond. So Drummond's 1. And the next one's definitely got to be a value. That's tough, man. Maybe Paul Reed and just take the punt play out of him. Take the punt one. Maybe Paul Reed because Paul Reed's only 3.3. What else we got? Good stuff, brother. I'll let you fix that sprinkler. I don't have a sprinkler issue. It's my dog's just, I don't know what the hell's going on, man. My sprinkler should be fine. My sprinkler system might have watered my grass this morning at like 4 a.m. or something, and it's just the grass still wet in certain spots. She might have laid right on a sprinkler head. I don't know. My dog's just, y'all know how that goes. Exactly, both if he sits. If he sits, that'd be great. Yeah, it'll probably immediately make Harden chalk. That happens. How many minutes you got for PJ Dozier? So I talked about Dozier earlier. So for PJ, let's see. He's definitely going to get a bump with Porter out. So he's a guy that I'm really interested in as well. When everybody's going, if everybody ends up going Barton, and it's obvious to you that Barton's going to be high owned, fading Barton to PJ is slick because you're saving a good bit of money too. You're saving $2,000. So let's see. How many minutes do I have Dozier at? About 30, 29, 30. 29 to 30 minutes for Dozier. I think he easily hits value at 3.3. I think Dozier's fantastic value today even. Yeah, if Barton's going to end up being chalk, that's interesting to pivot off that way. Because I don't feel like he's a must. Like, he's a great play, don't get me wrong, and I do like him. And if I land on him, I'm not going to be sad if I land on him and end up with him. But also, guys, just in, Otto Porter will miss a Golden State. Tyrese Halliburton is questionable. If Halliburton misses, that is a big bump to Mitchell. How much is Davion Mitchell? Davion Mitchell is 4.4. If Halliburton misses, Mitchell will be crazy. Mitchell will be solid at 4.4. Obviously, if Halliburton misses, big bump to Fox as well. Big bump to Buddy Hield. Big bump to Harrison Barnes. That's going to make things interesting if Halliburton misses. That's going to make things interesting. I have a feeling we're going to have a fun night ahead of us, man. Like right there at like 5:30, we're going to start getting like lineup changing type of news. Somebody mentioned Gary Payton for the hold on. Gary Payton again for Golden State. I don't have a ton of love for Gary Payton. What is the high 3? Can you shout it out real quick? As of right now, if I had a high 3, it would be Kaminsky, Drummond, and Westbrook as of right now. As of right now. That's with the news that we have available to us. Westbrook, Drummond, and Kaminsky. If KD plays that Bulls-Nets game, can be a shootout. It's an interesting game for sure. Interesting game. Nobody's really missing. Let me see that game in general. Who's missing? Anybody getting bumps due to injury over there? Kobe White's out, but he's been out all year. Not a big deal. Nobody's really missing out of that game. So, like I said, every position in your lineup needs to have a real reason. All right? If everybody's healthy in the lineup and you're just playing them because you think the game's going to be good, that's a risky way to play. You need to really look into it. They all need to have bumps. You need to have some type of bump. Yes, game shootout potential is a bump, but not a big enough bump to just be like, oh, this game's a shootout potential. I'm going to play this guy. Even though nobody's out, he's not getting any bumps in minutes, usage, none of that. Most of the time in DFS, the most important thing in DFS is taking advantage of usage bumps due to injury, minute bumps due to injury. That is the most important thing in DFS. If you don't play that way, you will rarely win. It is incredibly important that you make the updates when they're necessary. That's why if you guys play with me, if you use greenlightdfs.com, it is incredibly important to follow me on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, here it is. Because if you use greenlightdfs.com, we look to improve at all times of the night. So any news comes out, we will update. So you got to stay focused. So just a reminder, if you play with us at greenlightdfs.com, we do make updates as the night goes, as any new information goes. Anytime somebody's rolled out, we look to see if we can improve, and we let y'all know to update. And that is the biggest key. That is one of the biggest things for our victory and like our win percentage and stuff, is because we continue to work while others might miss it. I'm all in on coffee black. Not sure what you're talking about. What do you think the most fantasy points be for a player tonight, and what position is that player? So you want me to tell you who I think will score the most and what position he's in? So with the information I have available to me right now, I'm going to say honestly, I think it's going to be Westbrook, and I'm going to go 58. 58 or more. I'm going to go 58 to 65 between there for Westbrook. Something wrong with Optimizer? What do you mean? What's wrong with it? We do have our own optimizer at greenlightdfs.com with my projections on it, by the way. Let me see. What do you mean what's wrong? Let me log in. I have to log into my own optimizer. Thoughts on Jonas Valanciunas? I do like Jonas Valanciunas. Nick, thank you for bringing up Jokic. I talked about him earlier. I do like Jokic a lot. What the hell, man? I got to get the developer to up. For some reason, he hasn't uploaded my projections into here yet. I'll get that done right after I'm done with this. All right, so everybody who's got a Greenlight DFS membership, Optimizer will be uploaded in about 30 minutes. Less than 30 minutes, because I'm going to get off here in about 4 minutes. Drop a like down below if you haven't already. Thank you guys for joining me as always. Make sure you subscribe. Yeah, follow me on Twitter at Cam_ATL. Any questions? That's the best way to get a hold of me. I do like Jonas Valanciunas a lot. Thoughts on Vooch? Like people have mentioned, that's an interesting game. Let me see. The issue there is he's not getting any type of bump. Graham, if Ingram out again. Graham is interesting. Any guys on New Orleans are going to be interesting if Ingram is out again. There will be some interest there. If Ingram misses, I really like Valanciunas even more. Coffee Black from Semi-Pro, like what you were doing, Karen. Like what I'm doing, I'm still lost. No idea what you're talking about. He'll just come into the Hawks. Is he really? When is that? Are you guessing that? Or is that official? Are you guessing that? Or is that official, my man? Drop a like down below. Let me see. Make sure I haven't missed anything. Like Caruso for value. Caruso's decent value once again. Not much of a bump, though. I already answered it. How about Randall now against Philly to run it back? I like that thought process a lot. Because you're obviously automatically going to have Philly value. Running it back with somebody from New York makes sense, and Julius Randle is their best player, so that's interesting. What up, Cam? Who not to fade tonight? Andre Drummond. Do not fade. 95 people in here right now. Don't fade Andre Drummond, okay? If he ends up getting hurt or he ends up not hitting value, still, you can sit back and understand you made the right choice, okay? Don't fade Andre Drummond. Play him. Get cute somewhere else if you really desperately have to. Like I've said multiple times in this live, if I was making 150 lineups, like 125 even would probably have Drummond in it. And if Drummond ends up not hitting value, so be it. But he will. You like KD? He's okay. Not too much of a reason for him, though. Robinson and Noel are both questionable. That'll also help Randall. Anthony Edwards will play tonight. Edwards has been balling, man. Pay attention to the D'Angelo Russell information. That'll be a big key to whether Anthony Edwards is a player or not. But yeah, I love Edwards if D'Angelo Russell is still out. Drummond, 20 points, 20 rebounds tonight. That's possible, man. Halliburton questionable. Yeah, I was just talking about that a little bit ago. If Halliburton misses, Davion Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, all getting bumps. Favorite Hornets, LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges. That's it. I'm not going to be playing a ton of them. Probably LaMelo. CP3 or Trey on Fanduel. CP3 or Trey on Fanduel. Chris Paul or Trey Young. Really close. I side with Trey. Probably Trey Young. If you like Russ and AD together, I think that's fine. Yeah. They're both getting solid bumps with a guy like LeBron James off the floor. Edwards and Barnes are playing well. Yeah, both of them are fine. I like them both. Do you like Harrow or Lowry? You want me to choose one of them? Harrow or Lowry? Uh, Harrow or Lowry, man. Harrow has his days where he balls out. I have them really close to each other. I probably side slightly with Lowry, but it's close, man. I'd take Lowry just because he's starting. That's the only reason I would side with him. I need a 4K guy. What position? Anywhere? 80 just got upgraded to probable, so 80 is a fantastic play tonight. As long as he doesn't get like a ladybug, doesn't land on him and end up taking him out of the game, he's a great option. Make sure you look into like what he has eaten today. Make sure that his tummy feels okay, because if his tummy even aches a little bit, he will leave the game. 4K overall. Let me see. 4K, favorite 4K overall play. If you don't already have Kaminsky, find $300 and get Kaminsky. Paul Reed is 3.3 if you want to go much under. Now, if you're trying to stay right at the 4K range, right at 4K. Let me see. Man, it's a bad price tag, man. That is a horrible price tag, my friend. JaVale McGee, probably. This slate got my mind boggled, Cam. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff to look into it, man. He didn't take his fruit vitamins today. Oh, don't play him. If he didn't take his gummies this morning, don't play him. What's your top 2 core guys tonight? That is Kaminsky and Drummond. Obviously, guys, after we end this live, man, it's incredibly important that you stay in tune with who's out, who's in. Take advantage of all the injuries throughout the night. Remember, every person in your lineup, make sure they're getting a solid bump, all right? Make sure they're getting a solid bump. He got traded. Who got traded? Top values under 4K, Frank Dozier, and Reed. Frank is not under 4K, but yeah, Dozier and Reed are great. Jordan Poole is fantastic. He's right there around Maxi's price, though. It kind of makes it a tough decision. But yeah, I've had that battle already today between Poole and Maxi. Probably side Maxi because he is missing a lot of people and gets a bigger bump in general than Poole does. But Poole's been balling, man. Drop a like down below if you haven't already. Reporter out. We're looking at Bielitsa. Bielitsa is a guy, man. He just pops out of nowhere and balls sometimes, man. Bielitsa is not even on the team that's going to get a bump with Porter out, though. Bielitsa is on Golden State. But sometimes he pops up out of nowhere. Aaron Gordon or Niang? Niang. Kim, you need a cut. I know I need a haircut so bad, bro. I need a haircut so bad. Trust me, I know. I've had a lot going on lately. We did go find out that I am having a boy in 4 months. So I've been busy as fuck. We've been setting up the baby's room, all types of shit. I ain't playing Russ at all. Just better options on Fanduel. That's fine. That's fine. I'm never going to tell you, shut up. Unless you say you're not playing Drummond, then I'll tell you to shut up and that you're making a dumb decision. Otto Porter out on Warriors. That's why he said, oh, okay. That's what he's talking about. With Otto Porter out, with Bielitsa, we'll get a bump. He'll probably see about 18 minutes or so. He can hit value against Atlanta, sure. I'm having a baby girl. That's what's up, man. Congrats. When's she due? Appreciate you, man. Let's see. Anything else that I missed? We're at 45 minutes. Damn, I've been getting on here just chilling for the longest time lately. Is 2 centers always the best strategy? Not always. It really comes down to roster construction and what positions you have the value and what positions you don't. That's how you pretty much figure out how you're going to spend up. It's just where the value is and where it's not. February? Oh, that's what's up, man. We're due March 23rd. March 23rd. Luka or Westbrook? Westbrook. Westbrook is going to build you a mansion tonight, but he could also win you a mansion tonight. Babies are expensive. I believe it, man. Fuck. I really need a win, man. Really need a win, buddy. I'm working harder than ever tonight. I'm working harder than ever tonight, man. March 23rd is my BD. Wow. Yeah, that's the predicted birthday of my child. Yes. All right, y'all. 105 people in here, man. Thank you guys for joining me as always. Hopefully I was able to answer everybody's question. I'm going to get back into the slate. Greenlightdfs.com. If you are interested in our stuff, greenlightdfs.com if you want to join the squad for that. Optimizer will be uploaded, and my optimizer will be updated in just a second. Edward Norton. She thinks I look like Edward Norton. Fuck. I do not look like Edward Norton. Tell her that's bullshit. Yeah, greenlightdfs.com. Join the squad. What else do I need to say? Oh, yeah, loyalty members. For everybody joining greenlightdfs.com this week, I will be, every day that we win from today until Sunday, I will be putting $50 into a pot. And on Monday morning, I will be randomly drawing a person who has subscribed to greenlightdfs.com and rode with us on the website to get that pot. So if we win every single day, however much we got in there is what you will get. One person will get it. I'll choose one person, but that one person will be somebody who is a member of greenlightdfs.com. And I want to do that as like a loyalty thing every week or so. Any interest in Rozier? He's 5'3" on Fanduel. He's a good price over there. He's a good price. I think he's okay. I don't have any ownership projections at this moment, DeJuan, on my site. No, not at this moment. Because things change so much, man. No GLD breaks, man. GLD breaks is good. I've got a couple boxes on the site right now we need to fill, and then I'll break it up. GLDbreaks.com, yeah, for box breaks. I want to break them on Friday. I got 2 boxes available on GLDbreaks.com right now that we can break if you're into sports cards. Got a couple boxes. You can go grab your spot for a group break over there. If you don't know what a group break is everybody gets into you get a random division. I'll randomly draw a division on live, right? And then you'll get all of the cards out of the boxes that match the division you end up getting. So it gives you an opportunity to get like autographs and cool like rookies and cool shit like that worth some money at a cheaper price because these boxes are expensive. So you get in on an expensive box for a chance to get the hits out of it for a fraction of the price. So that's what makes breaks fun. Breaks are just fun in general. The excitement of what you're going to get out of it is cool. We'll have one on Friday night. So we do still have spots available too for a football box and a basketball box. What's good, Cam, my guy? Long time, bro. Yeah, Tweezy, baby. Good seeing you, man. I'm actually about to roll out, y'all. Thank you guys for joining me as always. Let's get it tonight, man. Y'all have an amazing night. Stay healthy, all that cool stuff. Jordan Poole over 2.5 threes. I believe so. He'll probably hit 3 or 4. Have a good one, y'all. Chelsea says, wait. I already answered it, Chelsea. Do you have another one? NFL vid. First look lineup video will be tomorrow. I had the doctor's appointment for my baby this morning, so I didn't do any videos. Top MVP spot for tonight's game. I'm not talking football yet, and I'm keeping that on the low, actually, for the squad. Stay up, and congrats again, my guy. Yes, sir. Y'all have a great one, man. Y'all have a good night. We're going to smash this slate tonight once again. Showdown 2. Let's get it. Peace.